I think this is what most startups struggle. They need money, obviously, but they need also expertise on how to go to the market fast, because this is where everyone struggles. We built an AI tool to scan gaming platforms and make a sentiment analysis of the comments these games got over time, over the last 2 years, let's say. They were looking for games, they worked for a certain time, then they stopped actually developing it. And we will find out with our AI tool which are the best diamonds of games to approach them, buy them, and revamp them. We have 500 communities who will talk about our pre-mint in this one day. They will all post about it on Twitter, on Discord, and make some noise. This is something which usually you pay 60,000 to 100,000 to agencies. You know how much we paid now for these 500 collabs?
How much?
0. Use AI, use your own brain after you know how it's being done, and do it yourself.
So today I'm here with Assads, the co-founder and CEO of OYA, which is a really interesting project. So we're going to be speaking to him today about the project, the vision for the project, and also, very importantly, his past and the other projects, the startups he's involved with and in. So yeah, great to see you today.
Great to see you.
It's a beautiful office as well. So yeah, let's kind of dive into your past and kind of what's led you up to this point today.
Yeah, actually, I am actually not from the startup space. I started working 15 years in big pharmaceutical companies like $40 billion company Bayer. I was their head of digital marketing and a digital transformation director. And then I thought I need to do something new and disrupt the industry, because as a director for digital transformation, what you basically do is you check what new technology is there and how you can do the change in the company to adapt to it and use it for competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And then I saw, blockchain really as the best technology for ownership itself.
100%. Yeah.
And that's why I said I need to do something. And then I was thinking, like, should I do something in the healthcare space where I worked in, or something different? And then I was a professional Counter-Strike player like 18 years ago or so. And that's why I'm still pretty much
gamer at
with
heart.
gaming. Yeah, I still love gaming.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, okay, ownership in games is huge, because we have like a $200 billion market in gaming, and the people never own really anything.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes sense to go there, actually. So yeah, this is then how I started my first business called Medieval Empires, actually.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So do you still play games? Are you still kind of a heavy gamer, or more on the business side now? Kind of you understand what people like, and now you're basically building it. So would you say you're just kind of building, or you're still like heavy gamer?
I am not a heavy gamer, to be honest. I don't have
It's
family.
very time consuming.
I have family also, and I have businesses, so I don't have too much time. But sometimes with people in my companies, I play Fortnite or some other stuff too.
Yeah.
It's good to calm down, to relax, get the mind
It's that
free.
escapism, isn't it? Just kind of get into the game and get away from the real world for a bit to
Exactly.
chill
I think
out.
it's very important, because like if you're 24/7 like struggling and doing businesses,
That's what I do as well. Sometimes in the afternoon, if I've had a long day, I'll jump on a computer and I'll play some games and stuff. And you just kind of escape that thing, and then you come back and you're level-headed again and back to business. So it's good. It's really good.
Do you do anything? Like, do you play games or?
So I actually play a Web 2 game, Age of Empires. You know, like the RPG.
Yeah,
I think it's like
course.
RPG where you build the army and fight and stuff. So
Awesome game. Yeah.
I kind of it's really cool, and I want to get more into the Web3 games as well. But yeah, I just play that, and I kind of play it number one because obviously I like it. But number two, you just completely forget about everything else, and you just like zone in. Like I feel like some people have got alcohol, that's their escapism, and other people kind of do different hobbies. And for me, it's just couple of hours in the afternoon, not every single day, a couple of times a week, I'll just jump into the game, and it just gets me out of the work mode, and then when I jump back in, I'm completely refreshed. So everyone's got their kind of little addictions and just escapism kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. So look, tell me about OYA, and obviously anyone that's watching this, explain kind of what OYA is and what's the vision and where you guys are at and where you want to be ultimately in the future.
Yeah, makes sense. So I actually, after I was in this big pharma business, first of all, I started Medieval Empires. It's a Web3 strategy game. I raised more than 10 million US dollars for that, and
Wow.
built like a very professional team from big gaming studios
Yeah.
like King and Disney and others.
Mm.
And that game is running and it's doing very good. We will publish it very soon.
Mm.
And then I went out a little bit on the operations because
Mm.
I have like a fantastic team doing
Mm.
medieval empires. And I said, let me use all these learnings I made in my first startup.
Yeah.
And I think this is what people underestimate if they first start. They think
Mm.
like doing a startup is easy, but you do a lot of mistakes. Like everyone does that in their first startup, I would say. And with all these learnings, I put it into OYA, which is basically a Web3 AI first gaming accelerator slash publisher, where we buy games which are like 70-80% ready, but they struggle with money
Yeah.
or experience. And then we come in, we buy 51% plus of the company, integrate them in our ecosystem, and then we put AI agents on top and our task force we have in our company of experts in AI and blockchain development, finance and legal, and bring them really fast to the market.
Yeah.
I think this is what most startups struggle. They need money, obviously, but they need also expertise on how to go to the market fast, because this is where everyone struggles. And this is where we come in. So we already bought
Yeah.
2 games, and we go live very soon. I mean, no one knows about us yet.
Yeah.
We are not there, but in some days we will be.
Yeah, yeah. So what you mentioned a minute ago is you had you made a number of mistakes and ultimately you've learned lessons and then you brought that in. What would you say is and this is to educate any other startup that's looking to kind of come into the space, anyone that's building game, any developers or any startups basically. What would you say the biggest mistake and the lesson that you've ultimately learned from that mistake when in kind of OYA or in medieval empires or any other projects you've done?
Yes. So I would say there is this need or the idea if you start a startup that you need this experienced people from big companies. And it can work, and I think it is working somehow, but there are some people from big companies, they never worked in a small startup, they're not
100%.
hands-on at all. So
Yeah.
they come into a startup with the thought of, oh, I'm a manager, and now people will work for me. But this is not how a startup works. If
Completely
you are
agree.
founder, if you're a C-level of a startup, you need to be hands-on.
Yeah.
Because it's a startup, not a big company. And this is what a lot of people are very hard in changing and adapting to a startup situation. So you really need to make sure if you hire someone from big companies that they understand they need to be hands-on. I think this
Yeah.
was like a big learning where at the beginning I was not 100% aware of that. Now I am, obviously, so I always
Yeah.
check that first.
That's a really valid point that you've made because I used to own a recruitment business. I've also been in property as well. And some of the companies that I was working with before, they think that they need like operations directors from a massive company. And the problem with these people is they're good, but they rely on the infrastructure as well, right? So when they go into a smaller business, they're not as hands-on and they don't have the initiative because some of the companies, especially the corporate companies, they've got so much structure. You can come in, you can blend in as well. You don't really need to think about things. Everything's done for you and you just need to put the pieces together. You don't kind of, ultimately, they don't always come in with that initiative of, okay, this is the problem, how do we solve it without having a whole corporate behind us? So I completely get that point. That was really valid. So where are you at with OYA at the moment? Is it kind of, where are you at? How long have you been building for? Is it nearly ready? And when are you going to be coming to market?
So, I mean, we call ourselves like AI first because we believe that AI is speeding up everything.
Yeah.
It's the same with the company. We started basically 5-6 months ago from zero, and we will launch our token in June,
Okay,
basically. And we already hired a full team, hired our full advisory board, already bought 2 games, already built 3 companies or 4 companies now in different countries to
Yeah.
build up a solid foundation for our group. We will start with our pre-mint announcement on
Yeah.
Tuesday, which would be 2 days from now, actually. And then we go
Okay.
live and we show ourselves to the community.
Okay,
And
brilliant.
then we go from there. So yeah, we are ready to rock, I would say. We have these 2 games, really, really good games. We don't tell everyone right now what are these games because we want to step by step reveal what we have.
Yeah.
We also build a AI agent, which is a Japanese anime character, and she is our brand ambassador.
Yeah.
So you will be able to talk to her on Discord, Telegram, even on Twitter. She will also tweet by herself, and
Yeah.
it will feel like she's human.
Yeah.
And we have a story behind her. She had an accident where she almost died, and then her mother
It gets
and
really
father-
deep with the AI
Yes.
agent. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then her mother was actually like a scientist who put her thoughts into a robot, so she's living, but she doesn't know. She thinks she's a real human actually. And
Oh,
she
wow.
will find out over time when we build a community,
Yeah.
with the community together, that she is actually not real. And then
Oh,
she will
wow.
have some struggles, and the
Yeah.
community is then reproducing what happened back in the days with her together. The
So
story
it's
will
not
be
just,
built.
it's funny because some companies like, we built an AI agent, we built a bot, blah, blah, blah. But this is like fully, like this is deep, the way that you programmed it is kind of, so she doesn't even know she's a bot, she thinks she's
Yes,
human.
exactly.
Oh, wow.
She thinks she's
Okay.
real, and if you talk
Yeah.
to her, she will also think she's real actually.
That's
And,
crazy. It just
yeah.
shows you how deep AI really gets. Because I speak to a lot of AI projects, especially throughout the events. A lot of people approach you and bits. And most of the projects you look at, they're not even AI. They just call it AI because they want to jump on that hype narrative, and they've got tokens. They want the tokens pump and a bit. You look at them; they're not even AI projects. But I mean, what you're building is fully AI.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, that's just the beginning. I mean, look, the idea with AI is to disrupt the publisher value chain, I would say, because you, as a publisher or as an accelerator, whatever in gaming, first of all, you need to find good games.
Yeah.
How do you do that? We built a AI tool to scan gaming platforms and make a sentiment analysis of the comments these games got over time, over the last 2 years, let's say. And they were looking for games, they worked for a certain time, but then they did not work out and they stopped actually developing it. And we will find out with our AI tool which are the best diamonds of games to approach them, buy them, and revamp them, right?
Oh, wow.
This is, for
Okay.
example, how we use AI. The other part is doing user acquisition. User acquisition is the hardest part for gaming and non-gaming projects.
Yeah.
Because you pay for visitors or for buyers or whatsoever. So we also building an AI tool for that. We have an advisor. He was the founder of UA Hero,
Okay,
which
cool.
is a gaming AI user
Yeah.
acquisition platform, which was sold to a bigger mobile studio. And he was also one of the general managers of Leonardo AI, which
Yeah.
is a very big gaming project. Not a AI project actually. So we also have him on board as advisor to really make sure we have AI with substance, like
Yeah.
it's working and helping us to be faster. And then it goes further, like also we help the games we acquire, the teams, we help them to use AI, and we force them basically to think always AI first.
Yeah.
Like if you do something, use the tools we give you, even coding, game design, all of that. We provide an AI tool for that so they can use it to be
Yeah.
faster to market.
I've got a question for you because I don't understand AI and gaming as much as you, but I still understand it compared to like probably 95% of people in crypto. And when I speak to gaming projects, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because especially ones with tokens, right? Because not only have you got to build a great game onboard users, but you've also got to make sure the token works out to a certain extent. Because the problem is if you don't onboard users, you don't have users, it doesn't generate money, you close down at some point. If you have a token that gets sniped or something goes wrong with it, or the tokenomics slightly wrong and that dumps, that might upset a lot of people, that then you lose users. So I see it as very much a double-edged sword, that you have to get the token right and you have to get the game right. So it's kind of like two businesses in one. What would you say? Would you say that's correct, what I'm saying, being like heavy in the gaming side of things? And if it is, what kind of advice would you give to, because I've seen Medieval Empires, the token's great, the game, I haven't actually played the game, but the game, the graphics, it looks brilliant. So from what I've seen, everything you're doing is really good, and I imagine this will be as well. So what advice would you give to anyone if what I'm saying is correct? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's very important for all builders who want to do like a blockchain project. First of all, think about if the token is really needed in your project.
100%.
Because a lot of projects, they just want to put a token in it to maybe raise money, but it will have no value in the whole ecosystem, or just very little. And this is where most people, or I can say if I see it, this token will not be very good at the end. So
Yeah.
that's why we make sure, and this is the whole idea behind OYA also. So the idea is to have at least 10 games over the next 12 months we acquire. We already have 2, and there will be one ecosystem token, which is a utility token for all of these games.
Okay,
So
brilliant.
even what is very realistic, that some of these games will be not successful, some of them will be successful. And if you check our project and you have like 10 games at a certain time, then the possibility that there is still utility left after some games will not work is like very high.
Yeah.
And this is what we make sure. I mean, of course, the first goal is to make every game successful, but it's not realistic. It's
Yeah.
the same like in the startup space. If you build 10 startups, maybe one will be successful.
Exactly,
This is how
yeah.
VCs act, and all angel investors, they know if they invest in 10, maybe one will be successful, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we give like very high utility in the ecosystem of OYA itself. And then also in each game, if you use it, you can stake it to get VIP status. You can use it to build certain items in these games. And then we want to make sure that you can also use items you have in one game in the other game. So you have real interoperability,
Yeah.
something like that. So we really want to use the blockchain and the token as if it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because what you said as well, that kind of it makes a lot of sense based on what I asked you. Because what people do is a lot of builders in the space feel like we need a token to raise money, which is fine. You're solving a problem today, which creates an even bigger problem tomorrow. So once you've raised money, what's the token for, right? How is it going to be sustainable and the utility? So no, it's completely correct. So in regards to your token, how does it support like the ecosystem, and more importantly as well, how does what's like the revenue streams for OYA? Because as much as you're solving problems, which is amazing, it needs to make money because it's business, and then it can grow, and then it can obviously solve even more problems. So what's the kind of revenue streams? Would it come through people playing and then say buying like NFTs or skins, or people then paying to play the games more? Where you kind of, do you have all of the revenue models now? And yeah, what are they?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the whole idea is that we accelerate games which are already in a playable version.
Yeah.
This is why we also some kind of investor accelerator at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we buy 51% plus of the games.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that the first revenue stream is they go to the market, they go on Steam, they go on Epic Store,
Yeah.
and you can buy also with fiat money, basically items and all
brilliant.
of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first revenue stream, which is very usual in gaming, I would say. And what comes on top is the token itself, which is on the exchanges, and where you can use the token to buy stuff also in the game for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
I think that this gives some utility to the token on top, but that's just one thing. But the main idea is that you use this token to have additional value in the ecosystem. For example, if you buy a gaming pass from OYA itself, and you can only buy that certain gaming passes only with the OYA token, not
Yeah.
with fiat, then you get additional benefits in all games. Like if we buy another game tomorrow with this gaming pass, you will have additional benefits in the next game we buy and the next game we buy.
Yeah.
You don't need to have something different. So that's, I think, like a very strong utility where you can use the token to get this gaming pass. But also, as I said, if you want to, we have one game where you can assemble, for example, your own spaceships or some items. And if you want to assemble different items together to create something new, you need to use the token to do that.
Yeah.
So that's an additional thing. And then it's also staking. Like if you want to have a certain VIP status in certain games, then you can stake the token. There will be different tiers of VIP status, and you stake it, get the VIP status, and you have additional utility in these games.
Okay, brilliant. What I see that's really good with this is you're not just building one game, you're basically creating a whole gaming ecosystem, which is number one, saving potentially very good projects, but they can't just have that extra push to bring it to market. And you've got multiple, so even if one doesn't work out, you've got a lot more, so then the token is kind of more stable. And it's funny that you mentioned obviously the ratio, because I was speaking to one of my VC guys the other day, and he said we only need like 1 out of 8 projects to work, because obviously every project isn't going to work. and it's going to be the same with gaming, right? You're going to build a bunch of games and they might be really good, but you're never going to have a 100% hit rate no matter what you do. So I think this is a lot more stable compared to a lot of other projects because you're not relying solely on one game whether it's going to work or not.
Exactly, and I think also like what's very interesting, like my learning from the last 3.5 years, like 24/7 as a builder in crypto itself, is that people always look to these AAA games, you know, and they think, oh, this AAA game, that's the hardest thing to achieve because a AAA game takes 5 to 10 years to develop it, and the chance that you are successful competing against Ubisoft and all these big players, it's like so low that it makes, like, it's questionable if I would invest in a token which wants to be a AAA game, to be honest. But there are different genres and different like AA or casual games, and this is where we focus. We focus from casual to mid-core games, which take, I would say, from 1 year to 3 years in developing them. So it's like a good amount of time. But on top of that, we don't go in very early because we want to see a first working version of the game, so our experts can really say, this will be something really, really good. And that's why the risk on our side is also lower. And the possibility that this is a good investment is also very high for us, but also for everyone who's invested in us, basically. So this is our strategy we want to go. And the games you will see, they're very fun to play, really good games, no hyper casual stuff. Like, you know, there's also hyper casual games, which are like very, very simple games. We don't go there.
The Telegram stuff.
We don't do that. We want to people have fun playing these games, enjoying it, coming back every day to play these games. These are the type of games we have. So no hyper casual, no AAA, which is almost not achievable, but it's something in between.
So kind of like in the mid-market. I feel like there's so many games that have come to market recently. When I say recently, in the last 24 months, and a lot of them are these typical Telegram tap games. And I feel like the builders haven't really thought about building a game. They want to bring it to market. How are you going to onboard users if it's just there's so many tap games? People, you can't retain, like, see, just for example, with Age of Empires that I play, Medieval Empires, which I think is kind of similar. If I play that, I'm going to keep playing it. You're excited to play it, right? With a tap game, anyone's going to get bored of it after they've played it a couple of times. You don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, let me tap a button. This is going to be fun. So I feel like they don't think before they build, and there's so many builders in the space building for the sake of building because they want a crypto project. And that's probably one of the biggest problems I found over the last 24 months.
I think these Telegram games, they were, the idea was that they are games, but I think they're a marketing instrument more, like a community building instrument now. Like, it's still not bad if you have some other Telegram games which have millions of users and you give missions and they come to your social channels to get more following, or they do certain tasks. Is great, right? That's an awesome thing, but they are obviously not games. And as you said, they will not be very long lasting. They are as long lasting as you tell your community you can win something at a certain time. But most Telegram games, the community is just raging after that because everyone just gets like some sense of payout at the end from the token. So everyone is upset after that. And this is the question. Do you want that? You create something, a lot of people, and then you don't pay them out, and then they will rage and spam your channels and stuff like that, which is very bad for your
community. And having a cult-like community is absolutely key. And going on to that point, as a builder previously and now as well, you've got some good experience. What's the biggest challenges with onboarding users? Because with a game, you have to have users, right? You need people playing it. So what's the biggest challenges, and what advice would you give to anyone that might be building a good game, but then it comes to actually onboarding users? How do you onboard users against 20,000, 50,000 other games coming to market at a similar time?
I think it's very important when you start your venture that you have an idea on how can you attract people. How I did it in Medieval Empires was that I onboarded, I would say it's the second biggest actor in the Muslim world. His name is his name is Engin Altan Düzyatan. He's a Turkish actor, but he played in a TV series called Ertuğrul, which is basically the biggest drama TV series in the world. and he was the main actor of that. So he is like the Michael Jackson of the Muslim world, basically.
Yeah.
So I onboarded him as the face of the game. So it's much easier for the go-to market later.
Yeah.
But it also helps at the beginning when you're building, because there are a lot of fans. They want to know what he's involved in, so they come in very early. So
Yeah.
this made it really easy. And then what I also did also for OYA is that I worked together with big influencers. One of my first investors and very close partner is Carl the Moon. He has a huge community in crypto and also outside of crypto on his Instagram account.
Yeah.
And with him, obviously, we have the starting advantage that we can
100%.
get a very fast community which will support us, basically. So I think it's getting people in if you can, if you have the network and if you can convince them, get them in to get a very fast early community without paying any extra money.
Yeah.
But what we also did is, and I think this is what you learn after you went through some cycles and some working with some marketing agencies is, what we do is now with OYA, we have, if we go live with our pre-mint campaign, we have 500 communities who will talk about our pre-mint in this one day.
Yeah,
like 500, not people,
lot,
but communities.
Yeah,
they will all post about it on Twitter, on Discord, and make some noise. So we get a very good start at the beginning. This is something which usually you pay 60,000 to 100,000 to agencies. I know it because I did it once with Medieval Empires at the beginning, because I didn't know how to do it. But then I saw how they do it, and this is what I love. Use AI, use your own brain after you know how it's being done, and do it yourself. And you know how much we paid now for these 500 collabs?
How much?
0.
Yeah, wow.
Exactly nothing. And with the agency, we had like 250 collabs only, and we paid the money. Now we paid nothing, and we have 500 collabs.
Wow.
So it is possible.
It's an attention economy, right? And
yes.
Once you've got the attention, everything becomes a lot easier. I've actually got a question in regards to the community side of things. What's harder, building the community or retaining the community? I know they're both hard, but what would you say is more of a challenge?
Retaining,
Retaining,
it's hard, you know, because people, look, crypto in general, which I can somehow understand, they want to have fast results. They want to have faster token. The token should go up 100x, especially now. Everyone is thinking
Everyone's
like meme coin, you know, like because the meme coin season we had, which I think was not very helpful for the crypto industry.
It was terrible.
Actually very
it
terrible.
Was terrible.
So that's why people like think very short term, and this is not how businesses work. But if you do it in a clever way, and you don't shoot out everything at the beginning, but you tell the community something which is exciting, and then every week, every other week, you have some great new news which is coming out, so they stay excited. This is when they stay. So but it's also a struggle, like get a community excited for a year or two, or even
difficult.
3. Like we had at Medieval Empires, and we still have like a big community very excited. It's really, really hard. So that's why I don't shoot everything at the beginning and try to find something nice. And I mean, one thing you can do is be transparent with your community.
100%.
Like always tell them what you're doing right now. Like if your developer is doing a new 3D model or something like that, show to the community very early, and then show it a little bit later so they can see the progress and they understand something is going on. It's the same, especially in art, but also if you are going somewhere, show that you are doing, show that you get investments in it, you get new partners. Like there's so much you can share with your community. Go on AMAs.
People need to be excited because there's so many projects coming out. And this thing with the meme coins, people holding before, and then it's obviously always pure PvP with the meme coins, but I mean, people are holding, but then so many coins have been released every single minute. Like Pump Fund was the top earner in the whole of the crypto space, I think, last year. I can't even remember the figures, but they're making a stupid amount of money on people launching tokens. And it went from people kind of holding meme coins not long term, but kind of mid term, to then short term, to then like a couple of hours, to then dumping straight after launch. Like we went through that in the last kind of 12 months. So people have got in that mindset of they want to make 100x today. And if it doesn't happen, they're going to jump ship. So I feel like building communities is a lot harder than it was like 24 months ago, and especially last cycle as well. People believe in projects, but there's so many projects coming to market. I think with your experience and anyone with some good experience in community building, you've got that step ahead of people that are just coming in trying to build stuff. Because building the community is probably one of the most important parts, as well as having a good game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right. Like, it gets harder and harder now because, like, 3 years ago, the competition was not as crazy.
Yeah.
But now there's so many crypto projects because crypto is so much more popular right now because we saw what happens in the US with the SEC change, the head changed. So after that, it gets better.
Yeah.
And now, like, a lot of Americans coming in, but also worldwide, new founders coming in to build something because they believe now it's time because regulation is getting better and all of that. So it gets really, really hard now. But that's just what it is. Like, you need to be better as someone else. So that's why you need to be in the trenches. You need to see what others are doing and how you can do it better at the end.
Yeah, 100%. I've got a question that's slightly off the gaming side of things, but obviously it's still in crypto. So CZ is now the advisor for Pakistan on the crypto side of things. World Liberty Finance have recently gone over there as well. What is happening with Pakistan in terms of the background, do you think? Because they've got some serious players now that are going over there. I think user adoption is about 20 million now. They seem to be doing some crazy moves in crypto. I'm going to start studying it. When I say I'm going to start studying it, literally from next week, I'm going to take a dive into what these guys are doing because they seem to be moving forward at a very quick pace. And yeah, what do you think about kind of that, and what do you think they're doing in the background in terms of user adoption?
I mean, the chairman Bilal is a friend of mine.
Yeah,
and
I was with him yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh yeah, of course, the thing. Yeah, really nice guy.
Exactly, he's a really nice guy. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I mean, he himself, he's already like very long time, very active in Pakistan also. In crypto, like he's one of the main crypto drivers there, I would say. And I mean,
the same event actually. Yeah, of course, you invited me to it.
Exactly.
This week has been so crazy with the events. Everything's just blended into one.
True. Yeah. No, I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. With Medieval Empires, we also want to do something in Pakistan because the actor we have, this Michael Jackson of the Muslim world, he's like crazy famous in Pakistan. Like, you can literally sell one of his hair for money in Pakistan because they're crazy over him. Like the former leader of Pakistan, he actually told everyone in Pakistan, watch this TV series because it transports like good culture, good values. That's why watch it. So it's crazy. No, but I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. I think the adaptation now will be very fast because CZ is there, as you said. Justin Sun is going, I think, next week or in 2 weeks also there. Liberty Finance, as you said. So all these big guys coming now there because they're very open. And I think it's very good for Pakistan because Pakistan, actually, I'm half Pakistani. Like, I'm half German. I was born and raised in Germany, but you know, my father's from Pakistan, my mother is German. So I follow this very closely because I think it's a big chance for Pakistan to work on their economy. It's not the best economy at the moment, obviously. Not everything is going good. So this is a big chance, and I think they're taking it. And you can see it. The finance minister, the finance minister is actually heading this whole thing, right? So it's directly below him, which is great. So I believe they will achieve something very nice there.
In crypto, it's about staying ahead as well, staying ahead of the trends, staying ahead of narratives, but also staying ahead with the countries that are making big moves. So this is why I'm going to get heavily involved in terms of like research and see what they're doing. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of building in Pakistan now with new projects coming to market, financing projects and bits. And they got some great tech over there as well, and developers and bits.
You know what's crazy with Pakistan? They have a very young generation and a lot of IT people there. So it's actually perfect. Like this whole crypto tech, whatever it is, going into Pakistan and making it successful there makes so much sense. The potential is crazy. If they can implement it, and I believe they will in a good way, Pakistan could be one of the top players very soon, like in the next 5 years. Because everyone is ready to jump into Solidity and all these development or programming languages and just make it happen.
It's funny that you mentioned they're quite young because I had a 15-year-old message me this morning. He follows Bilal, and then he obviously saw the picture and stuff, and he dropped me a message. He's actually working for Solana Super Team in Pakistan. You would not realize this guy's 15 when you speak to him. super intelligent, knows everything about crypto. I say everything about crypto. Who knows everything about crypto, right? But very intelligent. Got a big community in Pakistan as well, and it's like, wow. When I was 15, I was not like these guys. So yeah, it's
There are a
super
lot.
young, but
There are a
really,
lot. Like I work with a blockchain developer. He's 19.
oh wow,
He won 2 years ago the hackathon of the Token 2049 in Singapore.
yeah,
He's 19 and
it's
he
crazy.
knows how to develop on Solana, on Solidity, even on other chains.
Yeah.
And he's like really good. He's booked by so many people. He's earning a lot of money and he's
Yeah.
19 years old.
This is why I wish I started coding when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah, I actually started coding when I was 10.
Oh wow. All right,
Yes,
yeah.
but this was before crypto area. I'm like 37 now, so it's a little
Yeah,
bit earlier.
Yeah.
But my father, I mean, it's like the Pakistan genes, you know, they force you to like be an IT guy or a doctor
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I also started like very early doing my own websites and own content management system and all of that very early.
No, it's great. It's great to see how everything's evolving. And if you look at the users that Pakistan have got already, it's like, I think it's between 15 to 20 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a hell of a lot of users. People don't realize that it's like more than most countries in terms of just that are using crypto over there. So I think user adoption is going to be massive with all of the moves that they're making. And yeah, I think it's going to be a next big player in the game. I think they're the 9th biggest holder of crypto in terms of or user adoption or something in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of countries who struggle with their currency or with inflation. I would say these are also the countries where the adoption is very high.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to use crypto and then sustain the value of whatever you have, right? So I think that's why the adoption is also pretty high in these kind of countries. But
Yeah.
there is the additional advantage, obviously, of a young generation, which is in IT, which is great. I mean, I think Saudi Arabia is also very interesting.
Oh, they're going to be a big player.
Like
yeah.
I'm going a lot to Saudi Arabia right now, and I'm in contact with a lot of people there. The token is still like no one is allowed to talk about tokens, but blockchain tech itself
That's a
is
good
like
thing though, isn't it? That's
coming
a-
up. Yeah, there's a blockchain association also now in Saudi, like something like in Pakistan they also have in Saudi now. I know the chairman also there, and they're really pushing this now. And I think in the next year, regulation will come also for tokens, and then this market will go crazy.
100%. I'm kind of waiting for the day when the memes start to slow down, and I don't know if it's ever going to stop, but they start to slow down, and it's about building, it's about tech, and it's about utility, and proper projects start doing really well. Because I feel like for the last year, we've been just a full meme super cycle. I know that there's so many people building in the background, and you'll start to see projects come to market which are actually solid. But I can't wait for the day when the regulation comes in and everything. Crypto is crypto, and it's about building, it's about tech. Because even when I look at projects and when I look to invest, I've invested in a lot of projects, been in crypto for coming up to 6.5, 7 years now. I always look at the project. Is this going to change the world? What is the tech? And is there a use case for it? Because so many projects, they're just basic projects, and it's like you're competing against 100 other people doing the same thing. The likelihood of you surviving is very low. Whereas if you're actually building something that can either build a massive community, it's fun, exciting, like in the gaming side of things, or if you're building something that is actually going to change the world and it's proper tech, like they're the ones that are going to survive in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it could be maybe also interesting for the viewers about if someone wants to build a game and how we are looking also to acquire companies, right? Or
Okay, yeah.
51% is basically, we first of all look at the team itself, if they're really motivated. I don't need someone who already built like 10 like great games, because if you have them, then they're also very expensive and the burn rate is very high, right?
Yeah.
So I would not especially look to that, but to a team which is really motivated and try to make that happen. They believe in it, no matter what comes, they will work on it and make it happen. I think that's the most important thing in a startup. And the second thing is, do they have a product which can make it in the market?
Yeah.
Is it fun enough to play? Yes or no? Like these are the main two things I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And if I find this, I want to have this game basically. But you know, with the startups, they come into crypto, they build something, and then they come to you and ask if they get some investment, but they don't know at all how to build games. I mean, that's also a thing which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because if you come new to a market and then you just build something without any experience, the main thing what always goes wrong is scalability. So you build something and then some users come in and then your whole product breaks.
Yeah.
This is why you need like a really experienced tech guy always, I would say. It's very, very important.
You need a passion for it as well, because gaming, it's a bit different from some other like sectors in crypto. I feel like you have to have a passion for it as well. You have to build something that you would play, that you would enjoy, and then like have some kind of love for the actual game as well. Because I feel like with gaming, it's more personal than a lot of other kind of narratives and sectors in the crypto space. So I've spoken to like loads and loads of people that are building games, and it's very hard to find people that actually have a passion for the game. They want to build something amazing. It's like they're just trying to build a game just to get it to market, just to make money. And I don't believe in those kind of businesses. If you build something with passion and you build something good, and you build something that people are going to love, the money's going to come. Everyone's in this. Everyone wakes up to make money. Like that's the bottom line. We wake up to make money. Money brings freedom. It doesn't buy happiness, but you need money to survive and have a good life, right? But you can do the right thing and you can build something good, and then the money will come anyway. I've spoken to a lot of people, especially recently, that are just building for the sake of building because they want to be in crypto. They want to have a game, but they're not thinking about how we're going to onboard users, but more importantly, how are we going to retain the users? How are we going to build something great that we can then get to the next stage and it's scalable, like you just said. So it's really interesting what you guys are doing.